Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books, and I let you know what I thought about them. We always start with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week: GCPD, The Blue Wall, issue number 4. And let me just get this out of the way. This book probably should have been the pick of the week at some point in the last 4 months. But this week in particular, it really made an impression on me. This is the pick of the week. John Ridley has been doing such a fantastic job with this book. I have not found a comic book script outside of like 20th Century Men or Agent of World or Ice Cream Man that is as cleverly written as this. This is such a pitch perfect comic book script that this has been one of the best books on shelves for the last 4 months, and nobody's been talking about it. Now, I've been giving it high praise, right? But looking at this week, and there's some good comic books this week, but like, this book is levels above, and I know a lot of people have been saying, comparing it to Gotham Central. Now, Gotham Central was able to have an extended run. Gotham Central was able to have time for people to reflect on it because it didn't sell very well at the time, right? However, I will say this, GCPD, which I thought this was the last issue, I guess there's 1 or 2 more, I don't know. I want this book to keep going. John Ridley is able to develop these characters in such a way that I relate to them, I'm engaged by what's going on. There is movement in the story, not just in plot, but just in characterization, which is something that doesn't usually happen in fiction, period, but much less in comics, right? So I got to give high praise to this book. John Ridley, Stefano Raphael, and Brad Anderson, they've been doing such a great job with the artwork. I pulled it up to an ad. The artwork in this book is capturing the nuance of the humanity of this book in such a way that it blows my fucking mind. Sorry to use that language so soon in the video, but GCPD, The Blue Wall, holy cow, is this the most nuanced interpretation of the life of a cop that we've ever seen? Maybe. Like, I'm willing to say that right now. I'm willing to say that this is one of the best reflections of what it's like to be a cop in a superpowered universe. We can get that out of the way, but there is so much nuance in this book that blows me away. There's so much humanity in this book that blows me away. And the art is able to capture all of that nuance. And the writing is not afraid to capture that nuance. It is... I know that some people could say this book is... Some people would be tempted to call this book preachy or woke, right? And back in the day, what people say woke is now is so off the rails from what woke actually is and what it should be. In my day, we would call this book preachy, right? It's not preachy. It's not preachy at all. It is not preachy. It is not woke, but it is aware. And it doesn't hold back being aware, but it's not trying to be woke, quote unquote. It is just trying to be real. And that's what I love about this book. GCPD, The Blue Wall, issue number 4. I'll go ahead and say this, the most real comic I've read in 2023. Let's move on. All right, Batman, One Bad Day, Bane, issue number 1. This is a one-shot comic. We've had these books. They're kind of being like Batman the Killing Joke. What Batman the Killing Joke was for the Joker, that's what One Bad Day is trying to do for other books, right? For other villains, for other Batman villains. And I think they've been pretty solid for the most part. Some of them haven't been as solid, but I liked them, and I really liked the Mr. Freeze one, but I will say that right now, Bane is my favorite. This is awesome. This is a great book. Incredibly dynamic artwork from Howard Porter that excels his work in the 90s on JLA, which I absolutely adore. The dynamism of this artwork is splendid. The characterization of Bane is amazing. Joshua Williamson was the the writer on this book, and man, I've been high on Joshua Williamson on this show before. I've been a little bit low on him before, and obviously we've had him on the show, so he's a friend of the show. But even if he's watching, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to say this. I am being honest tonight. This book is really good, and it's one of the best interpretations. Like, I feel like I had hours longs of conversations with Josh Williamson about the character of Bane. And I haven't. My interaction with Josh Williamson is that show and a few messages. Like, he's a friend of the show, but I'm not trying to, like, boost people up. This book is freaking awesome. It is such a great encapsulation of who Bane is, why he does what he does, and how that relates to the story overall, the mythological story of Bane. This is an absolute favorite book of mine from this week. It's one of my favorite Batman villains. I love this book. I'm going to ramble about these books tonight. All right, Nightwing 100, it's okay. It could be better. There's inconsistency of the artwork. Now, I like these big extra-size anniversary specials where they bring in other writers or other artists from the previous eras. In this one, they bring in other artists, and I appreciate that. I can look at the page, and I can be like, that's Scott McDaniel. That's Eddie Barrows. Like, I know where we're going. I know what we're doing. It does lead to a little bit of inconsistency into the artwork, which is okay, but it is what it is. But the story is just kind of okay. I do feel like Tom Taylor's maybe just going a little bit too far with his politicking in this book. And I'm not trying to say I'm ever against a book being message first, but when you're so obviously message first, it can be a distraction, right? And that's what's happening for me in Nightwing at times, but for the most part, it's a pretty solid book, and this was a pretty decent enough issue, but I was expecting more from an issue 100 from a milestone type team, but I still liked it. I thought it was good. Then we got DC Universe Lazarus Planet Assault on Krypton. This is a one-shot. There's going to be a series of one-shots about all these DC Lazarus Planet books, and this one's just kind of okay for me. It didn't really super work. I don't know. It's just a bunch of vignettes about what's going on in the DC universe. I guess, I don't know, I guess post-Dark Crisis, DC was like, yo, Mark Waid, let's reset some things emotionally for the core of the DC universe, and that's what they're doing here. There's a bunch of stories, they're decent enough, they're okay, but it doesn't make this feel like an event that I need to invest in. You know what I'm saying? There's some big things going on. The Lazarus Planet, the whole bit is that Lazarus Island, which was introduced in Josh Williamson's Robin run, exploded. And so all this Lazarus energy is unleashed into the atmosphere, and it is what it is, but the impact is less of that and more of just kind of stating the new status quo. So it kind of loses me a little bit for that, but for the most part, it was all right. Then we got Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue number 11. Really love this book. A major revelation at the end of the last issue, and a great continuation of that momentum in this issue. Long-term DC fans will love this book, and new fans are going to love this book. That's what I think. Mark Waid understands these characters, he understands this world, and he is implementing things that he wanted to implement for the last few years or the last decade or so. He's implementing them into World's Finest so he can build on those in other books like World's Finest or this is World's Finest, but he's implementing things in this book that he wants to elaborate on in Batman vs. Robin or Lazarus Planet or other things or even Kingdom Come. Some major ramifications, some great character development. I think this book is top notch, and the artwork by Dan Mora is splendid. Stargirl, The Lost Children, issue number 3, absolutely fantastic. I love this book. I think Jeff Johns has come back into his own as a comic book writer. He's added the complexity of things like Doomsday Clock and what he learned from really heavily studying the Watchmen. He's added that into his own typical flair. So this is perfect for Stargirl fans. This is perfect for Golden Age DC fans. It adds a lot of elements to the mythology, and it introduces a lot of new characters. So if you're out there looking for new characters, look no further than that issue right there. Then we got The Flash, issue 791, the second part of the 1 Minute War. Now, I love what Jeremy Adams has been doing, or Jeffrey Adams, I should say, right? It's Jeffrey or Jeremy? Pretty sure it's Jeffrey. It's Jeremy. I was wrong. Jeremy Adams has been doing such a great job on The Flash that this book, 2 issues into the story, this is monumental. This is a big frickin' deal story to the Flash family. The only problem I have is it doesn't feel like it's been built up to. This should have been built up to just a little bit, but the ramifications, the execution of the epic nature of the story is actually really cool. So if you're not familiar with the 1 Minute War, a series of aliens are coming down to invade the DC Universe Earth, and they're able to slow up time, but the Flashes are aware of it, and the way they utilize the Flash family in this book is absolutely top-notch. Then we got Black Adam, issue number 7. I started feeling a little bit lost in the plot on issue number 7 of Black Adam. However, I know how Christopher Priest likes to structure his stories, and it took me a minute to get into this book, and then I got heavily into it over the last couple issues. This one kind of felt a little bit off-kilter, but it feels like something that's going to even out as the series progresses. So Black Adam is still something I'm enjoying. I like it. Issue number 7 was decently solid. Then we got the new champion of Shazam, issue number 4. What to say about this book? I'm struggling. I'm struggling right now. It's a good book. It's not bad. This is a really good... If someone was tasked, right? If a creative team was tasked with the idea of let's build up Mary Marvel, let's build up her as a potential avatar for Shazam. This book does what it needs to do, and it does it very splendidly. However, I will say that the new champion of Shazam, issue number 4, the finale of the series, it didn't hit every single note that I wanted to. It was satisfactory. It was okay, but it didn't reach the levels that I thought it could as far as characterization goes in issue number 1. It didn't quite reach that throughout the series, but it was still pretty good, and Doc Shaner's artwork is absolutely fantastic. For Marvel, we have a new Wasp series, Wasp issue number 1. It's all right. It's by Al Ewing. It's got some interesting ideas. It's got a lot of connection to the previous Wasp stories. I appreciate that. I like it, but it didn't do anything new, right? So if you are unfamiliar with the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, if you're unfamiliar with her stepdaughter of Nadia, which I love, Nadia as the Wasp. This will kind of catch you up, right? But it's not going to change your mind or anything like that. So there's the new Ant-Man movie coming up. The Wasp is in it, but that's why this exists. Honestly, it's not as good as the first issue of Al Ewing's Ant-Man book, but the Wasp one is okay, but it could just kind of play around with it a little bit more. Then we got Venom issue number 15. It's part of the Dark Web story, but it is severely disconnected from Dark Web. Now, I am making a focus and a commitment to reading all of these Dark Web books to let you know what is essential. And right now, all that is essential is the Alpha, the End one, the Omega or Dawn or whatever they're doing, and the Amazing Spider-Man issues. The Venom issues, this one, Ron B is still dealing with making sense of some of the recent revelations from Al Ewing, for instance. So It doesn't feel as connected as it does to Dark. It doesn't feel as connected to Dark Web as it should, as other tie-ins do. But it does feel incredibly connected to the ongoing Venom series. So if you're reading Dark Web, this is not essential. But if you're reading Venom, of course it's essential. Then we got Dark Web X-Men issue number 3. This is the final issue. It was okay. It was all right. But it does build up enough to the point where I will say that Dark Web X-Men is essential to understanding what the flow of Dark Web is, right? So you got Madeline Pryor, you got her coming to a revelation here, a realization, if you will, that's going to affect the ending and the final act of the Dark Web series. It's obviously understandable. There's nothing that's done in this book that is not projected already. However, it's decent enough. It's decent enough. Then we got Hulk issue number 11. All right, Donny Cates is out. I don't want to speculate as to why Donny Cates is out, but he has left Thor, he has left Hulk, and now we got Ryan Ottley taking over not just the artistic duties, but the writing duties of Hulk. And I know some people in my life, Blake, I love you, man, that are anticipating this issue. I think there are some good ideas. I think that Ryan Ottley is being put in an uncomfortable situation, right? Where he has to wrap up the shit very quickly because Donnie's out. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's doing a good job. It's not the best written Marvel comic this week by far, but it's decent enough. It's all right. And it leads me to believe that we have a purpose and an ending to this Cates Hulk run or whatever. I know that Ottley knows where Cates wanted to take the Hulk, but it is what it is, and it's okay. And Hulk number 11, art was great, story was okay, the execution's a little there. The Invincible Iron Man issue number 2, I almost did not want to read this because I did not like issue number 1, but issue number 2, it was a little bit better, to be honest. Jerry Duggan's doing a great job here. Juan Ferreira is doing a great job, or Ferreira is doing a great job on the artwork, but it's just, this is an Iron Man story we've seen before. Oh, what if we're super clever, right? What if we're super clever and we take Iron Man and we take away all of his wealth, right? What if Tony Stark had to start from the ground up? We've seen that so many times before. It's been done. You know, like Dr. Dre said in the Aftermath, been there, done that. However, it's okay. Issue 2 was better than the first one, so that's cool. Deadpool number 3. I am astonished that I made it through 3 issues of this newest Deadpool series. It's written by Alyssa Wong, who I don't typically like her work, but I was liking the first 2 issues of this Deadpool run. But in the 3rd issue, it really kind of got to the territory where, yeah, I'm not liking it. I'm just not digging it. Like, it's cute, it's funsy, it is what it is, but for the most part, it's forgettable, and what could be major ramifications that come out of this, and maybe there are some or whatever, but it just doesn't come through in the 3rd issue. So that's my final issue of that. Then we got Punisher here with issue number 9. This, I said this on my top 10 or my top 20, I should say, of 2022, and I stand by it. This is Marvel's best book. I absolutely adore this book. I think it's amazing. I think the work being done with Frank Castle is top-notch. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where we're going. I love the artistic expression in this book, where you have Jesus Sayas, who's doing the modern-day story, but you got a different style from Paul Azaceta, who's doing the background styles. They're starting to connect the 2 stories in this one. This is the best Jason Aaron Marvel book ever. This is really good. This is some good work with the character Frank Castle, illuminating some of the other characters that are essential to his story, including Maria. I loved it. I thought it was super great. I thought it was great, so let's go on to Image. And from Image, we have Immortal Sergeant issue number 1. This is from Joe Kelly and Ken Nimura, They're the team behind, like, what is it, I Killed Giants or whatever. They had a very successful graphic novel together. They had a very successful movie that was based on that. This is their return together, collaborating on a project, and it's okay. It's all right. It's about a detective who's at the end of his career, who gets a lead finally on a murder mystery that's been, like, plaguing him for his career. That does come across. It comes across in a very simple way. The artwork I really like. It's black and white. It is very efficient with its line work. It's like the most, the littlest amount of lines to convey the emotion of everything. It's all right, but it doesn't quite reach to the level of an issue 1 that I want. It didn't completely captivate me. It didn't make me want to come back for issue number 2. Now, I will come back for issue number 2 because I know what this team has done. I know what they're capable of, but issue number 1 just kind of felt a little bit flat for me. It was all right. Then we got Night Club issue number 2 from Mark Miller and Juanan Ramirez. This was better than issue number 1. So it's about teenagers who become vampires, who decide then to become superheroes, right? And I do believe that Mark Miller thinks that he's doing something original with this story, but it's not necessarily original. He's kind of playing with other ideas, but it is in a slightly different kind of way. And the first issue to me was just kind of okay, run of the mill, but issue number 2 actually kind of solidified some of those comments, some of that characterization, and really made it work for me. I Hate Fairyland issue number 3. I never finished the first series of this, but I absolutely am transfixed with what's going on in volume 2 of I Hate Fairyland. So I will say that even if you've never read the original series, you'll like this series. It's got this irreverent, subversive kind of tone to it. The artwork is great, even though it's not illustrated by Skottie Young. It still has that vibe from it because it's written by him. But I will tell you, the artist of this book, who is Brett Bane, does a fantastic job of kind of carrying on that ridiculous energy that Skottie Young is known for. Kroma issue number 3, an absolutely amazing book. Lorenzo De Felici has leveled up with this book. He's already established himself as a great artist because of Oblivion Song, but he's also established himself now as a great writer because he's able to take these concepts, these ideas, and thematically tie them in together with what he's trying to do. I absolutely love this book. I think it's fantastic. Issue number 3 was amazing. I thought it was super solid. Old Dog issue number 3 was the best issue of Old Dog yet. Declan Shalvey, an amazing artist, but as a writer, he started off solid, but he keeps getting better. And in this one, it's about a spy. He was a spy decades ago. Now he's coming in out of retirement, trying to do what he does, but with his daughter, they have a strange relationship. We build more into that, but we also build more into the world of the old dog, of the main character. And Declan Shalvey does a great job of not just artistically telling this story visually, but telling it in a very succinct, scripted way that really, really works, and it shines. Then we got Art Brut issue number 2. This is a previous series, Electric Sublime, that was released from IDW, but this is Martin Morazzo. This is W. Maxwell Prince. People that love Ice Cream Man, you definitely need to check this out. There are some explorations on art that are really interesting. Now, I don't think this is as nuanced or as layered as what W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo do on Ice Cream Man, but it works and it's pretty solid. I thought it was great. From Vault Comics, we have Barbaric, Hell to Pay issue number 1. Loved this issue. Loved how it took the time to step back, focus on Soren and the other dude who's kind of like a vampire before we get back to the idea of Owen in Hell. This was great. This is going to be the year of the axe. There's a lot of barbaric properties coming out this year, and I'm excited to see what gets developed because this was a really fun issue that still had that weight and that gravity, but it also had that sense of fun and abandonment that Barbaric has had from the whole time through. Then we got Double feature, Nightfall. The Nightfall double feature, issue number 2. Both of these stories were decent. I will say that the Andre and the Daniel story were a little bit better. However, it's been so long since issue number 1 came out that I barely remembered these stories, so it took a moment to get back into it. The skeleton story, I got back into it, but it felt like it was a little bit preposterous at times, though the art by Manhouse was amazing. And in the second story, once again, I felt, very disconnected from what happened in the first issue. It's been so long, but I got myself wrapped up in that, in that story very much. Yeah, so it's okay, but this book doesn't come out often enough to really get us to sink our teeth into it, if that makes sense. But I will say this. It's the smell of the week. I love the smell of this comic. I love the idea of this comic. In the first issue, I said that I don't feel like they understood how the colors were going to print on this paper, but in this one, the colors print perfectly on that paper. Then we also got Giga, issue number 5, the final issue, finally, of Alex Pagnol's Giga. I read it, I enjoyed it, but I'll be honest with you, it's been so long since issue number 4. I was so lost in the plot, I had no idea what was going on. But I did have that vague recollection of what was going on, so I appreciated it. I dug it. I really liked the finale of the story, but it's definitely something I need to sit down and reread. I have faith and trust in Alex Pagnol as a writer, so I'm excited to see what these themes do when you read it all together. But it's been a long time. And then the final book I want to talk about is White Savior. Number 1 from Dark Horse. It's okay, I guess. It's leaning into the Asian identity kind of thing going on right now, and I appreciate that, and I like it. I think it's cool. It's about this myth that is involved in Asian culture about the white knight or the white savior who comes in, the outsider who's white, who's not Asian, who's able to like take care of things. It plays with that in an interesting way, but it's a little bit too on the nose with its theme, with this thematic structure. Maybe it could be a little bit more easy with it, kind of folded in there just a little bit more naturally, a little bit more organically. It would work a little bit more for me. So to recap, White Savior was kind of okay. Giga was a really solid ending, but it's been too long. Nightfall double feature, smell of the week. Love that smell. Barbaric was awesome. I got to think about cover of the week here. How about cover of the week? Art Brut, issue number 2. I know this is reprinted material. I don't know if this is a new cover or whatnot, but that's my cover of the week. So yeah, Old Dog, issue number 3 was the best issue yet. Kroma continues to be absolutely fantastic. I Hate Fairyland is really fun. Nightclub is okay. It's better than the first issue. Immortal Sergeant didn't quite reach that level that I was expecting. Punisher continues to be one of the best Marvel books. Deadpool has completely lost me. Iron Man has completely lost me. Hulk, Ryan, we love you. Let's just say that. Dark Web, X-Men, it's essential, but it's not very good. Venom is okay. It's more for Venom fans. Wasp kind of lost me there. The new champion of Shazam faltered at the end a little bit. Black Adam's getting a little bit more confusing and disconnected again. Flash is awesome. Stargirl is awesome. World's Finest is fucking awesome. Lazarus Planet, it's okay. It's okay. Let's be honest. It's just okay. Nightwing 100 could have been a little bit better. And then we got Bane. One Bad Day was pretty good. But the pick of the week was GCPD, The Blue Wall, issue number 4. Loved that issue. Lots of characterization. Lots of monumental moments. And some great artwork to kind of encapsulate it all into one. So that's what I read. That's what I thought. What are you reading? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join us over at patreon.com/PCP for, if you want to help support the channel. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Station. Pop, pop. Boom.